Everybody, welcome to the Eddie Life podcast. I'm here with the new owner of Lutetia. All the Lutetia, the whole empire now belongs to this man right here, and his name is Fim. How are you doing, my friend?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, man. I was really
me,
happy that you accepted the offer, to come on, right?
Glad to share, yeah.
I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for the wine. Thank you for making the time.
Happy to share.
Yes, man. So let's get in there on this. Taiwan, that's always the first question. What brought us to Taiwan?
I came to study Chinese.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, after I graduated, I decided to spend a year studying Chinese, and I came to Taiwan for that.
Okay.
And, well, it's been 16 years now, so.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Me too. I didn't come to study, but I've been here for maybe 20 years. But I think I never studied, so yours is better than mine. When I heard you, I was like, oh shit, too good, man. So, but what would somebody from France want to just be like? I'm going to go to Taiwan and study Chinese.
Yeah, I guess it was that decision came from some sort of. It was a mature decision. I actually thought about going to Japan first.
Okay, yeah.
I studied, back in college, I studied political science and international business, and I wanted to be in Asia because, back when I was a student, so in year 2000s, that's what that's where all the, the energy was and was a challenge was, and I wanted to be part of it.
Okay.
And I was always, I guess I wanted to, my parents always forced me to, see the world and explore and all that.
Okay.
So, yeah, Asia, China, Taiwan, Japan seemed fine enough.
Okay.
And, exotic enough. So, yeah, I spent a few months in China. My brother was there.
Oh, beautiful.
I have a brother who was in Shanghai, and I spent 3 months traveling, and then I decided, okay, no, maybe not China.
Okay.
Maybe another version of China, and it was Taiwan. I actually knew about Taiwan. I had back in college when I was studying international relations and such. We studied about Taiwan history. And,
okay.
So I wanted to give it a try and study Chinese there to maybe go somewhere else after that, but turns out I stayed in Taiwan. So.
Yes, that's actually a common story. I was planning on coming here first and then going to maybe Japan or something like that, but ended up coming here, liked it,
Yeah, it sucks you in, right? Like it's really,
it's a good life.
It keeps you, yeah.
It's a good life, and then, weather's pretty nice, and then you start to learn the language, and then there's some beautiful women everywhere, and you just like... I think I'm gonna stay.
Life is sweet in Taiwan, man.
It's not
yeah,
bad.
for sure.
Yeah. So what? You went to Kaohsiung directly?
No.
Okay.
I stayed in Taipei. Kaohsiung was just like small parts of my whole stay in Taiwan, which I think I stayed there just for like a year and a half or 2 years. Or something.
Okay.
No, I was studying Chinese in Taipei, and
Gotcha.
then I started working in Taipei. But I was traveling a lot for work before I. Settled down with Lutetia. So I was always, Taiwan was my base, but I was traveling around, mostly in Asia, but also in Europe and in the US. So,
okay.
Yeah, and I could have been anywhere in Taiwan. I was supposed at some point to be in Shanghai or to be in Shenzhen or whatever, but I always wanted to stay here.
Okay.
And I'm pretty happy with that choice.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And so you came up here. Everybody wants to know the story, the Lutetia story, right? So other than you and Cedric maybe being French, we don't know any other connections here.
Yeah, so same, I never thought that I would take over Lutetia, maybe even 2-3 years ago. It just happened, somehow, naturally. The idea with my wife, who is also the boss of Lutetia.
She's the boss's boss. I know.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah. You know how it works.
I do.
No. We both on that boat in this adventure. It's not just me. And the idea was to. I always wanted, since I was a kid, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Right. I always wanted to have my own. My own business. I didn't want to. Well, I guess at some point, you work for someone, you learn the ropes and all that, but. At the end of the day, you want to have, your independence, and you want to do stuff the way you want to do them. And we at first, so when we were in Kaohsiung, we wanted to open a bakery cafe in Kaohsiung. My wife was more into she's the one who really wanted to go into this direction. I was
Okay.
actually more interested in acquiring a business, maybe some boring, mom and pop business, maybe
Sure.
in manufacturing,
Okay.
in industry or whatever, and make it more efficient, make it more lean. And and she's the one who, because she worked in a cafe before and she wanted to, have also this contact with customers and all that. So yeah, we talked about opening a cafe in Kaohsiung, and we, going into this process, I was talking with previous owner of Lutetia,
Yeah.
and and so I was working with the bakers in the bakery of Lutetia,
Okay.
and to put my hands on the dough and
Yeah, nice.
and learning with them and baking, because I learned all that by myself, right? So it was when talking, we realized that he wanted out.
Okay.
And I wanted to start something, so we were both our
Like a
paths crossed.
crossroad,
Yeah,
yeah?
exactly. We were both at a
Okay.
crossroad, and it just made sense, and it just naturally came like that. And I came back once from Taipei to Kaohsiung, and I told Brenda, look, I think he wants to sell, and why not?
Yeah.
Why not taking over? It could be a good opportunity. So yeah, that's how it started.
I think that's cool because she was thinking about, doing the coffee shop, bakery, and then you were like, I need to take something over, right? And kind of lean it out and make it better. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a win-win, I think, right?
Yeah. In the
Sounds
end of the
like.
day, that's what we're doing with Lutetia as well,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it's always. I do think that starting a new company is extremely risky.
It's tough, for
as
sure.
you know.
Yeah.
So definitely acquiring a business that already has a customer base, that already has a brand that already exists, is definitely a safer way to build and to generate revenues and wealth.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, it was just it made more sense.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how it's happened.
And how did your wife reply when you came home and you're like, hey, let's take this over instead of starting our own?
It's not, well, first of all, it's like she said, oh, it's going to be too expensive, for us.
Okay,
So-
sure. Okay. Yeah.
So it's not the same budget as if we started a micro bakery in Kaohsiung.
Understand,
So
yeah.
that's but you need to. It's an evaluation between the investment, the return on your investment that you can get from acquiring a business compared to the risk attached to starting a new, even if it's a micro bakery, you still need to invest some amount of money in it.
And you need to learn everything from scratch, and you need to learn the marketing, and you need to learn it's
Well,
tough.
it's the same here. I mean, Lutetia
Yeah.
is still a micro business somehow,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
It's just that you can rely on some staff, you can rely on some. It's not the same. Let's say that it was a better way for me to apply my skills working on a business like Lutetia than starting a micro bakery where I would have been the one also making the bread and making, and Brenda making the coffee or something like that. It would have been like a two people, enterprise at the beginning. So it's a very different way of doing things, and it just made more sense for us to go with Lutetia. Yeah.
And then you have this when you're making the dough. I mean, you've got to make your own recipe, and all of that stuff is it's also a process, right?
Yeah, which is cool because it has both have their pros and cons. Starting something new, you can either have more freedom. You just do what you actually want to do, right?
Yeah.
What you like, and and with all the you start from scratch, so you have more freedom somehow. With Lutetia, you have to, of course, to stay within the zone of what Lutetia is. You don't want to dilute the brand too much. You don't want to do something too different, but you can make it more efficient. You can make it more. But also, it's just that I like Lutetia. I was living in Tianmu before.
Already.
I was a customer, and as you said, I knew the previous owner, and I think I was attracted. What I was attracted by Lutetia is. That that's something that I wanted to reproduce in our project for Kaohsiung.
Yeah.
It was the art de vivre. That's what we call it in French, associated to Lutetia. And I think this is the core value of Lutetia.
Yep.
It's just that it's a little piece of France in Taiwan.
Yes.
And when I'm talking about a little piece of France, it's not just baguette and croissant and and the Eiffel Tower and all that.
Yeah.
It's just that you have this this proximity with the staff, like people,
Yeah.
interact with you, and in customers interact with each other, and and I think you really have this European cafe feel. It's not
Yes.
just French; it's European, right? So that's what I wanted to also to have in our project in Kaohsiung, and that's to me that's really once again the core value of Lutetia is really this. What we call convivialité in French, or
Okay.
art de vivre,
Yeah.
this friendliness and this atmosphere, and we want to keep that, and just of course we're still a French bakery and pastry and a patisserie and all that, but yeah, that's what I wouldn't take over a business where I don't feel somehow a part of
Some connection.
some connection to
Okay.
it,
Yeah.
and so it makes sense also for that reason.
So let's have a cheers, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Cheers.
So how do you go in and you see, the old Lutetia that you love, but you want to renovate it. So how do you find the things that you're like, okay, I can maybe make this better, or I want to change this, I want to tweak this?
Okay, so well, first you do some kind of audit, right? On
Okay.
what's going on. Well, I already knew about Lutetia, and I was talking about all the
Yeah.
challenges and difficulties that
Sure.
the previous owner was confronted to, and he was sharing his own, all that, and I was bringing my opinion. And when when you've been doing the same thing for 10, 15 years,
Yeah.
at some point you kind of give up on trying new things, and you feel that no, it's never going to work. It's just not possible because this is, for whatever reason, and you start inventing yourself, some excuses about. So when you arrive with a fresh eye, when you,
Yeah.
you dare trying things that otherwise you wouldn't do, right?
Yeah.
So, when I was sharing all these ideas, I could see that, there was some potential in Lutetia, and it hasn't. Once again, it was doing the same. It's an institution, but
Yeah.
a lot of things haven't changed, both in terms of products and brand and
Understand, yeah.
So it was like let's say how to say like an open field for me. There was a
Sure.
lot of things to improve.
You go with
to be
fresh
honest
eyes.
with you.
Yeah.
And also because I come from the corporate world, and I learned, a lot of things that can be applied in any kind of business. It's not just about hospitality. It's just
Great.
about running a business.
Mhm.
So that's why when I was saying having a micro bakery is romantic and all, but
Yeah.
you're just very busy doing some task that you are not. This is where I'm the best at, right?
Yeah.
I can bake bread, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not a baker. I'm not a pastry chef and all that. So I knew that I could apply my skills that I developed through my curriculum, and I could apply them to Lutetia and make some things more efficient. For example, managing the staff,
Yep.
or regarding the how to deal with the supply chain, or for the branding,
Yep.
all the marketing and all that. So. Yeah, it was. I knew that I would have a lot of fun with Brenda and working on that. So yeah, we as soon as we took over, the priority was really to retain the staff.
Okay. Sure. Of course.
That
of
was
course.
the first. That was a big, and I knew about that because
That's tough.
the previous owner told me about that was the main issue for him. And that was the first things that we had to work on. So yeah, it just retains the staff and make sure that you cannot do anything if you don't have your staff behind you.
Agree.
So you have to find a way, and the team spirit. You can call
Yeah.
it like a company culture or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not just some invent some corporate bullshit and
Yeah.
just, no, it is really important. You just have the good environment for your team, all the people you are working with. To have the good environment so they can give the best of themselves, and without that, you can't do anything. So that was the first thing that we worked on, and I think we've been pretty successful at that. Brenda has been extremely good at being with the team, and at first, when you take over a business, there's always
tough.
a period of uncertainty, right? So it was very, very tense when we
Of
took
course.
over.
New boss, and they're like, "Oh, how's he going to be?
Am I gonna happen?
Is he going to be strict? Is he going to be nice? Is he going to be?
Am I going to get fired?
Am I going to get fired?
Or,
Yeah.
what it's going to be like? It's
Yep.
just, it's change, and people usually don't deal very well with change
True.
because it's uncertainty and all that. So you need to, of course, reassure people and give them, share your vision and show them Okay, this is what we are hands-on. We're not,
Yeah.
we're not. Lutetia is not the kind of business that you can just let it run by itself.
Yeah.
There's no general managers. There's not even manager. There was not manager, in the shops.
I understand.
When we took over, so yeah, it's you have to spend time with the staff, and so
Yeah.
they on board with you, right?
Yep.
So that's the first things that we had to work on.
Okay.
And then of course we spent some time to evaluate what we should be doing in the future in terms of for the product we want to develop, the branding, and a lot of how to say more regarding accounting and stuff like
Yeah.
that. There's a lot of it was leaking a little bit everywhere.
I understand.
So
That's-
it needed some more, let's say, tight.
Tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah. You
Tighten
need
the
to,
screws a little bit.
exactly. Yeah. So
That's understandable because we also were in a similar situation, like 16 or something
yeah?
years ago.
Okay.
And then we slowly grew, and it was good, but we don't. None of us has the experience. Nobody has the corporate experience to be like really optimizing the thing. So we had to slowly learn, and we slowly learn marketing and ads and just all this stuff. So yeah, I could see that. That's I'm gonna have to pick your brain about that probably on another one. But we
Yeah.
want to hear about this though. So the first thing you mentioned was branding, right? You changed the
Yeah.
branding, right? I'm gonna pull one thing up. I only got one picture. Old logo, new logo,
Yeah.
right? So tell me about this. What's going on with the branding here? Oh,
So, for the branding and for the renovations we did at our flagship store on Zhongshan Beilu Liutuan,
Yep.
right? I worked with a buddy of mine who is a designer, and I wanted to work with him.
Yes.
When I had my project for the micro bakery in Kaohsiung,
Sure.
we were already working on that. And
okay.
I wanted to work with someone I can trust. Obviously, someone that I know has same different view, and something that is different, right? I think that Lutetia was like a lot of bakeries and maybe for Tex-Mex restaurants. I don't know. You'll tell me, but somehow a lot of owners, they feel that they have to make something in terms of branding or in terms of product that correspond to what Taiwanese people, the representations that they have about what is a French bakery.
Okay.
Does that make sense, right?
Understand,
So you
yeah.
try to stick to that because you're like, you cannot really exactly do like a French bakery as it is in France. So we have to adapt, and you have to make some compromises or some concessions,
Yep.
and you have to put an Eiffel Tower to make it look French.
Yeah.
And just like this is really like a French bakery, and but at the same time you have self-service like you usually have in in Taiwanese or Japanese bakeries, and
Okay.
you already pre-pack some of the breads and all that, and so it's kind of a mix between it's a like a Taiwanese version of a French bakery, and so yeah, we wanted to get rid of that.
Okay.
We wanted to completely get rid of all that, French stereotypes.
Yeah. Oui, garçon.
So
Okay.
it's obviously it's in our DNA. We are a French bakery.
Sure.
We are a French pastry, but you don't have to be, to play with to be so obvious like that. And I think
Understand.
Taiwanese customers also, because that was 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I think Taiwanese people know better about products from France. They've been abroad. They've been
Sure.
to a lot of them, especially in Tianmu.
Especially
been to,
this area. Yeah.
Right. So they've been to Paris many times, and they know what it is. They know what is what sourdough bread is. They know this kind of products, and yeah. So they want something different. And the idea was to like when you come in Lutetia now, it's like you are in any bakery in Paris. Or
Okay.
I had some customers. That's the best compliment I can get from customers. When they tell me. I feel like in a bakery in Paris or in Japan.
Beautiful. Okay.
So I think it's great because that's what we are trying to do.
That's what you're trying to do.
Exactly. We're not a French bakery in Taiwan. We're just like we really like a French bakery, and we want to provide the experience that you could have in Europe, or in France, or yeah. So that's
Beautiful.
what we wanted to do. And for the branding, so I worked with my buddy.
Back up. Yeah.
my buddy Yanis, who did an awesome job for the all the identity of of Lutetia, the new identity of Lutetia, all the visuals, all the branding, and we're quite happy with it.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was fun because we spent a lot of time working on that, and for the renovation of our flagship store.
Yes.
We had an architect, French architect, who is Frédéric, who is in Taiwan, because Yanis, the designer, is in France. So that was a bit complicated, and then you have to deal with the workers. So that was, in terms of project management, it was a bit a bit tricky. But I'm glad that it still turned out. It's not exactly 100% what we had in mind, but it's pretty close to it, and we're quite happy with it.
Okay. Beautiful. Actually, you guys were closed for a couple months, and then when you reopened, it was like a completely new place. So I think the reaction from people so far in Tianmu is it looks great, right?
Yeah.
And the food seems to be like upgraded.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe tell me a little bit about the upgrades of the food.
Yeah, we once again we really wanted to provide the same kind of experience that you can have in a bakery in France.
Okay.
So Lutetia already had some great products.
Sure, of course.
In terms of breads, in terms of pastries, it was already good. But there was a lot of things that, let's say, that could be improved in terms of processes in the bakery, or for the delivery, so for the logistics and all that, and also. We definitely, there was an upgrade in terms of quality of the ingredients that we're using.
Yep.
So for the sandwiches, for example,
Sure.
and I wanted to work with some local, artisan, like the guy who makes the ham for us, and so all the charcuteries that we use, so the pâté, saucisson, all this kind of stuff, the ham, and all that, is all it's really legit, like really great quality, the same kind of stuff that you could find in France.
Beautiful.
I use the butters that I import from France, and same for the cheese. Lutetia was selling cheese imported directly from France.
Yep.
And now we use this cheese in our sandwiches, like the Comté and stuff like that. So it's definitely not the same ingredients. So it's a step up in terms of quality, and that's the direction that I wanted to take, because once again I don't want to compete with with cheap sandwiches from whatever.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So we wanted to differentiate ourselves, and there's definitely a demand for that, and that's I'm quite happy with how it turned out, and we have a pretty good response from the customers. We have some different customers than we used to have, than Lutetia used to have before.
Yeah.
So some customers who maybe haven't been to Lutetia for some time, because
some will stay, some won't stay.
It was the same stuff and all that, and they were a bit tired of it. And now they're coming back, or some customers who never stepped foot in Lutetia who are now coming, and So that's pretty good. Even staff who was working at Lutetia before are now coming back. Like, oh yeah, it's great what you're doing, and I want to be part of it, and they're coming back. Yeah, so that's quite nice. Yeah,
that's beautiful, man. We actually got a comment.
Yes,
there. It's in French though, so I can't read that. Yeah, I don't know. You know that person? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's my dad, and my dad is saying I can't hear nothing.
You can't hear nothing. Really, Joe? The audio.
I don't know. No. It's.
Oh, okay.
I think it's probably a problem with the iPad or whatever. I don't know, but
audio's good. Okay, cool. Oh, shoot, I'm like, no, what happened? Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's why always have to have someone checking the live feed, man. So beautiful. What do we have here, man? Why don't you tell me about what's going on here?
I just brought some some saucisson and some cheese and some bread. I couldn't come empty-handed. So,
no, I appreciate it. I'm going to try one of these, man.
Yeah.
If that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it smells nice.
Yeah, it's great. So the breads are the same country breads that we, that Lutetia was doing before. But you were asking me about how we change the products. For example, for the sourdough.
Yeah.
Before they used to refresh the sourdough, right? So you feed the sourdough, you add some flour, you add some water, and then you let it proof, and you let it rise, and then they put it back in the fridge, and then the day after they take it out of the fridge and then use it directly. So, which is kind of weird because you want to use the sourdough when it's actually rising,
Gotcha.
because it's not the same kind of bacteria.
Nice cheese.
Yeah, so the bread is same bread but a little bit different. Anyhow,
yeah.
the saucisson is one of the products made by these French guys that I just mentioned earlier.
Beautiful, okay.
And the cheese, the Comté cheese, we import from France.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. It's, like I said, we both said we've been here for a long time. 20 years ago or whatever, when I came, I actually gave up on cheese because you couldn't find good cheese here for a long time. And then, so when we started our place, we had to find so many different cheese distributors because a lot of there are some, I guess, I don't know if it's Taiwanese or Asian cheeses, but I remember we were out in the stand, you're hustling, it's hot, and then you go in and, you grab your shredded mozzarella or whatever. The one we use now is from Europe.
Okay.
But before we found that, we were using some local cheese and, testing it out. And I remember, you go in, and then one time it was kind of hot out, but not that hot. So I went in to grab it, and then my hand just went, and it was just totally all oil all up my hand. It was just a really cheap, oily, crappy cheese.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh my God, we can't use this. So we went around and we found, I think it's from Denmark or something. There's some shredded mozzarella from one company that we've been using for, I don't know, like 15 years, and that works pretty good for the quesadillas and stuff like that. But very hard, and it's tough.
I think there's a couple, it's a lady, I don't really remember, in Taichung. They make their own mozzarella. Have you heard of them? I haven't.
Actually, they're called Dita Creamery.
Yeah.
So they actually make all their cheeses, and I brought my team there. Oh, I don't know how many years ago. 5 or 8 years. I can't remember how many years ago.
Okay, so they've been doing that.
I brought them there a long time. Yeah. And because we wanted to use, like, Mexico has this like a queso fresco, like a fresh kind of a cheese, like a crumbly sort of I don't know how to describe. It's like a crumbly cheese, right? And I don't know how to make cheese, right? Like I have no idea, but they do. So we went and we brought our team out there and we learned how to make it, and oh my God, it was so much work. And I thought, because we already make everything, right? Like corn tortillas, we get the corn, we wash it, we do the simmer soak, and we wash it and it's soak overnight, and then we wash again, add the salt, grind, and then the flour tortillas, we make the flour tortillas, we make everything. So once we started to, learning with the cheese, I thought, oh man, we have to draw a line somewhere. We can't make cheese because we had tried a little bit, and it was really good. Most of the people didn't notice a difference.
Okay.
So
but what kind of cheese was that?
It's like a fresh. It was like a crumbly.
Oh, okay.
It's called cotija.
Okay.
Cotija, like a crumbly kind of cheese that you put on the tacos at the end. What the hell? It's called queso fresco, just fresh cheese in Spanish. But so they were making their own, and it was great. But it turned out to be a lot of work, and then so we stopped. But aside from that, cheese, it's tough.
The thing is that in Taiwan, it's also milk is pretty expensive, right?
Yeah.
So making cheese in Taiwan, I don't know if it's very viable in terms of in terms of business. I don't know how they're doing. Are they still?
I mean, I know they're there.
Yeah.
I know they've been there for a while. I haven't. I rarely go to Taichung, so I haven't been out there in a long time. Usually when we travel, my wife is from Miaoli.
Okay.
So we'll just go to Miaoli and just kind of like, there's not much going on there, so we just kind of relax and nothing happens, and we eat some Miaoli food, and then we come back. But I haven't been to Taichung in a long time, man. But it was good. It was good stuff, though.
But I think it's great that
nice.
you have this kind of locally made products. It's cheese or this. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. I'm really happy to also help supporting this kind of initiatives and these kind of businesses. So it's just one guy making that. He's just by himself. Well, with his wife, but he's the only one in the lab, and so it's a bit hard for him to keep up on the production because it's
you're getting busy.
Because and we use that in all our sandwiches, right? So it's
really
it's good. It's good. I was thinking about making cheese mozzarella, and it takes time, man. It's
I know it's tough. It's hard.
Then you need to store it somewhere and all that.
It's tough. No, I know. We tried, but it was tough.
Yeah.
Coffee culture.
Yes.
France compared to Taiwan. Of course, it's different, but tell me maybe some of the similarities, some of the differences.
It's very funny because French people have been drinking coffee for quite some time, like Italians or Spanish or whatever. But and in Taiwan, I remember when I got here, people were drinking coffee, but it was just starting or somehow it was like people have been drinking
Tea.
coffee has been let's say mainstream for like about what, like 25 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And during this short amount of time, they managed to from zero they became like coffee nerds,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
very sophisticated. And Taiwan has some amazing cafe with amazing roasters and people who really have a coffee culture, who
Yeah.
really enjoy drinking good quality coffee.
Yeah.
Whereas in France, it hasn't been changing much.
Okay.
It's the same. When we talk about the French roast, which is
Yeah.
Very dark.
I actually don't know what the French roast is. It's very dark. Okay.
So French roast, is very dark roast. So coffee with a lot of body, but
Okay.
not much clarity, not much in terms of aromas. It's not very developed. It's just like kind of burnt kind of coffee to be honest.
Understand,
So
yeah.
this is the coffees that I grew up with, right? So just like and it's just espresso.
It's kind of like espresso. It's kind of bitter.
It's
I
just
guess,
espresso,
yeah.
or maybe you would have like café au lait, right? So,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
you don't have much choice. I mean, now you do, of course, in France, in the big cities, you have all this, cafe proposing like, pour-over and such, but
Yeah.
it's still quite, confidential.
Yeah.
So it's funny how Taiwan became in such a short amount of time, the coffee culture just like completely, developed. And in France, it's changing, but it's still, it's not at the same level. So we have people here who are really, coffee enthusiasts, and I myself learned a lot about coffee in Taiwan.
Okay. Okay. And so like you're talking about the French roast. So you use the same kind of beans that were being used before? You guys change your beans, you upgrade your beans.
Oh my
From
God,
what I've
no.
drank, I've heard you guys upgraded the beans.
Oh, man, the
You're
coffee-
like, tell me about it. Tell me about the
coffee
upgrade.
was honestly was terrible.
Oh no. Okay.
I think it was terrible.
Okay.
I also, I shared that with a previous owner, and I was like,
Okay.
dude, your coffee sucks, and he took it personally, but I had
I'm
to.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm very straightforward guy. I think it's good to have some that people being honest with. I just didn't like it. It was very dark roast. Like charcoal level, third crack kind of dark roast,
Okay.
and so it has some advantages, which is that you have a more stable product.
Okay.
So it was a blend, right?
Yeah.
Probably past crop. So past crop is like some older beans that
Okay.
have been roasted, maybe
Been sitting for
2
a
years.
while.
Yeah, beans that have been sitting for a while,
Okay.
and so they were purchasing these coffee beans from this big company in Taiwan.
Okay.
And it was not cheap, and it was really not satisfying for me.
Yeah.
I was not a coffee nerd. I
connoisseur,
learned a lot about coffee recently, actually.
I'm
but,
sure. Yeah.
But I definitely wanted to change that. I was not satisfied with it, and so yeah. The other problem that Lutetia had is that they were using this, buying this coffee from this supplier and using their coffee machines.
Okay.
Okay, and also using their grinders, and also using some of their fridges, which meant
Okay.
that they were Lutetia was completely locked
Dependent on these
dependent
guys,
on
yeah.
this supplier.
Yeah.
And I was that freaked me out. I didn't want to
Yeah.
be in that. And it turned out that when we took over the contract, was a 2 years contract was ending, and I'm like, okay, we need to change that.
Okay.
So we had to invest into
The machines are
into
expensive, right?
buying new machines.
Yeah.
So the coffee machine, the grinders,
Okay.
replace the fridges and all that. So that was a big investment. Coffee
That is a
machines
big
are
one. They're
coffee
very
machines are not cheap.
expensive. Yeah. The espresso ones are very expensive, right?
They are. So,
Yeah.
but it was, that was a price for our freedom,
Okay.
and
Yep.
to be independent. So we had to go this road. And so, yeah, we, as it's always the case, it's just a matter of encounters and, people you meet,
Yeah.
down the road. And when we went to buy the coffee machines at La Masoko, I was talking to the sales guy, who was a super nice guy, and I told him, look, I posted an ad for a head barista. It's been 3 months now. We haven't had any response, pretty much. Not response, not any You know, and nothing that was really meaningful. And I was like, what was going on? And so I gave him the salary range that I had. And he was like, really? I would do it.
I'll go.
And I was like, sure, man. And it is funny because it was a kind of, you know, love at first sight, you know, kind of
Beautiful.
encounter. I really liked the guy, and he
That's
was, you know,
great.
super nice. And, you know, you know,
that's
we
great.
talked like that. And, yeah, he said you know, his wife is also a barista.
Oh,
And he
beautiful.
said, no, but, you know, maybe not me, but maybe my wife would be interested in that. So
Okay.
we met with his wife, and we talked. And then it turns out he's the one who came
Okay.
working
Nice.
with us. And when I told him about the project that we had, you know, I guess he, you know, he saw the potential, and he saw what we had in mind, the vision that we had for Lutetia, and it was an opportunity for him to help shaping, you know,
That's beautiful, yeah.
the new Lutetia, and somehow I also gave him, you know, free reins on, you know, how
Sure.
to
If he's
do
the
it.
expert, right?
He's the
That's how
expert,
you should
exactly.
do.
So
Yeah.
I was the best case scenario for me is that finding someone who has the know-how, because he used to be a roaster and he knew the machines.
Beautiful.
And he used to teach about coffee at barista, and you know, so he definitely knows all the aspects, you know, about coffee.
great.
And you know, we just talked about the, you know, the strategy, what I wanted to do, where I wanted to get, what I wanted to get at, and he got it, and we were trying different coffee beans and all that, and I just let him do it until now, and it's working. It was working perfectly fine. So now we buy the green beans, okay?
Oh, that's great.
And we roast them ourselves.
Okay.
In a factory in what's the name? In Sankang. Is that where they make
Sankang,
the,
I think. I don't
when
know.
they make the
That's an area.
tofu, right? So near
Oh,
Muja.
okay. Okay.
Anyway, so
Muja area. Okay.
so yeah, we select the beans. So the thing is that you also have much more choice when you are looking at the green beans, right? So. And it's also financially, it's definitely more. It's a better option as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
So you invest in the machines first, and
so
then you can
that's
get
the thing. We
yeah.
don't have to buy the machines because we use the machines from
Yeah,
from a roasting factory.
Oh, beautiful.
So
Yeah. That
so
makes sense.
and it's just that once you need to have the know-how, you need to somehow work out the logistics and all that. But you can get single origin coffee and roast it the way you want to roast them, and also you can rotate and you can change the beans more regularly. So the idea is that we'll have, for our espresso, we'll be using the same bean for about 3 to 4 months, and then we'll change to another bean. And also same for pour over. We were supposed to do pour over coffee.
Nice.
But it will come soon. At least our main.
love pour over.
At
That's
our
nice,
main
yeah.
cafe. Yeah, I love it too. So we'll have 3 different coffee beans for pour over. That we also roast ourselves, and we will be selling these beans to customers also in our shop. Yeah.
I think in Tianmu's kind of a unique place where there's a lot of coffee shops, and they all seem pretty busy. Like they all seem like everybody's doing reasonably well, right? Do you think that it's like that all over Taipei or Taiwan, or is it? What do you think's the special thing about here?
It's crazy the number of cafes that you have in Taipei, and they're all
busy.
doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Here in Tianmu, we have different cafe with different vibes.
Yeah.
More like a Shinjuku style cafe, just right there.
Yeah,
I
for
think you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
We have another one also
in the alley back
owned
there
by a Japanese guy who does some amazing coffee.
Yeah.
I really like it a lot.
Yeah.
And you have some either independent cafe or some and the cafe offering is great in Taipei in general and in Tianmu. So and Lutetia was let's say just doing the same thing over and over again.
Gotcha.
And at some point you need to wake up and you need to realize what's going on around you. And so it was definitely important for us to change that. And I was very glad to the way it turned out to be because of the person that we that we hired. And I think we I never thought that I would become a coffee nerd, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I learned a lot of things, and that's great, right? But yeah, we're catching up, and I think we are proposing now a pretty decent coffee.
So now you feel like, okay, you've tried some of the other ones that you think are quite good, and now you're like, okay, we're getting there, we're close, or we're there.
Yeah.
We're there. Okay,
We
beautiful.
when we will be doing pour over, we'll have more choice, and I hope I'm sure that our customers will enjoy it.
I love that, man. Is there like a more popular? What's the most popular drink or most popular item right now? Lutetia? Is everything like
You
just
mean for coffee?
coffee, food, whatever? Both, maybe.
Our croque monsieur is selling pretty well. People like it a lot.
Okay. Oh yes, we had that. Yeah.
Other than that, the coffee, in terms of coffee, we have I think our customers like to drink latte.
That's right,
The
yeah.
latte is definitely a bestseller. We have a black sugar latte that is selling
Oh,
quite well.
nice. Okay. So if
Yeah.
somebody's coming in on the first time, what do you think they should get? See, if you're a first time coffee guy, I want to go to Lutetia for a coffee. What do you
Well,
think?
it depends.
should get on-
If you like, if you.
That's a tough one to answer, I know. But yeah.
Yeah, because it depends. Some people like to have just like black coffee. Like me, usually I just drink black coffee.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to try something more different, we have also like a Donghua cafe, right?
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I saw that, man. When he told me about that, I'm like, dude,
I know.
that's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
That doesn't sound good. And
Yeah.
I tried it. I'm like, oh wow, okay, yeah, it's actually pretty good. Same apple cano, so it's a Americano with apple juice,
Oh,
and
that's
it sounds
cool.
weird, but it's actually delicious. And I was happily surprised with that. So when people feel adventurous, I tend to recommend this kind of coffee because
I'll have to try
it's
next
not
time.
something that you can try everywhere. So we have also some Sicily Cafe. You can find Sicily
Yeah,
Cafe,
Sicily Cafe, yeah.
a lot in Taiwan. And pour over coming soon,
Nice.
hopefully. So and matcha also. We're doing matcha now. So
Actually, when we went there, my daughter's friend loves
Yeah.
matcha, and little girls they don't drink coffee, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, no, it's selling too well. It's sold out. The matcha,
the matcha
it's
latte.
flying well. Yeah.
Yeah. We just
good.
We just got started, so
nice.
it's a new product, and we have some pretty good response.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I like it myself. So yeah, we try to. The idea is that I don't want to do the same thing, over
Yeah,
and over.
I
again.
understand.
I
Yeah.
also, it's
Fresh
I know
perspective.
that.
Yeah.
And always changing, trying new things. That's what we will be doing with coffee, and same with sandwiches and with pastries and all that. So,
Yep.
for the pastries, it's the same. We have some flan, some puff, and we have new flavors coming in every week.
Okay.
And we rotate and we keep trying new things.
Okay.
And also we want to ensure that our products are super fresh. So that's one of the things we improved when we came in. At the beginning, they used to produce a lot, and there
Okay.
was a lot of waste. It
Understand,
was
yeah.
ridiculous, like trashing like 3 entire bags of breads and
Oof,
a lot
that's
of
tough.
pastries. Yeah, man, it
That's
doesn't
tough.
make any sense. And
Yeah.
it's just like you have to.
I think it's better to sell out than to. I mean, you don't want to sell out all the time, but then you can kind of be like, oh, make a little bit
No,
more
but you
next
need-
time. But
yeah, you need to.
don't want to throw away.
You need to make sure that you produce, the right amounts,
Yeah.
and also that you put them on shelves at the right time. Because we actually, in terms of volume, it's the same volume as before, but
Okay.
because we make sure that products arrive on time.
Okay.
So we improve the logistics, and also we make sure that the products are fresh and they don't get, because we have one production site, right, which is next to our main shop, and then we have other shops, and we deliver all that. We put all the breads in, in boxes and all that. And
Yeah.
before they used to, put it like a bunch, and it was smashed. And
Yes,
so it comes out of the oven.
I
It's
know.
all nice and
Beautiful,
pretty, and then
and
you put it on the shelves, and not that nice and pretty. So
I know that.
yeah.
I've actually had that. Some of my staff, when we have some new staff come in, we'll bring in the bread, and we're like, the sliders we get from you guys, the
Mm-hmm.
slider buns, and I'm like, okay, make sure stack them properly, don't smash them. And there would be times where, I take them out of the fridge or the freezer because they go pretty fast, but we will freeze them and then we will kind of, use them, and. You take them out and they're like a pancake, and I'm like, man, I can't use this
No.
because even when it defrosts, it's still a pancake.
Yeah.
And you cut it in half, and I'm like, I can't use this. Yeah, so That was on our side, not your side. So don't worry. Yeah.
No,
but yeah, I
but
understand. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that it's really important that make sure that products that we have on shelves really respect the quality standards that we have, and that our products are as fresh as possible. So
Yeah.
also the idea is that during the day we try to push we're pushing different kind of products. So in the morning we'll be more on the sandwiches and quiche, and then meals for lunchtime, and then the pastries during the afternoon, and then more like ham and wine later in the day. So you can't have like all the products on shelves like all the
All
time.
day,
We're
you
not a
cannot.
supermarket,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's not how it works. It's fresh products.
Yeah,
So
I know that feeling.
so yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
The quiche is great.
Yeah,
the
thank you.
bacon quiche is really so. Whenever we go, that's what I always get. I love that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really nice and thick, and it's quality's good. Yeah.
It's maybe a little bit too thick. I know that even for myself, like it's very
Okay.
filling.
I enjoy it though. Yeah. I love it.
Thanks,
I love
man.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
it.
very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So, what about staffing? Staffing, no problem. You're saying you were able to keep the staff,
Yeah.
and you brought in the coffee roaster guy with the knowledge, which is good.
Yeah.
Did you bring anybody from France? Was there?
No.
Yeah.
No,
Because there
it's-
is somebody there, right? Yeah. Is there not somebody from France working there? There's a woman in the front. No.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she is she's on a student
Student
visa
or
here.
something? Okay.
She's on a student visa here, and it just turns out like she was looking for a job, but she
Gotcha.
has some experience in the in the cooking industry. She used to work in a a Michelin star restaurant
Gotcha.
in France, but she's not in the kitchen. She doesn't want to be in the kitchen anymore.
Okay.
I tried to
Yeah, I understand.
to have her
Yeah.
in the kitchen, but no,
Yeah.
that's not what she want to do. But we
I
don't
thought,
have.
I thought it was your sister or something, man. Because I was like, oh, this French girl, she came right when it opened, and
She's great,
whenever
right?
we go, she's great.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
thought, oh, she must be the sister or something because she's doing well. Yeah,
No,
I thought.
no. She's
Oh.
she's just. I think it was her landlord who she was looking for a job and told her, this French bakery, right?
Oh.
In Tianmu, you should give it a try. And same. She
Interesting.
just fit right in. So as for the bakers and pastry chef, no, they're all Taiwanese, and
Okay.
Taiwan has some great pastry chef and some
Agree.
great bakers.
Agree.
And having someone coming from all the way from France to Taiwan, it's quite a hassle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I actually looked into it,
Okay.
and so my flour supplier, who is who's from France, I had their baker when the baker came to Taiwan. He came to our bakery lab, and I was talking to him like, if you know someone,
Hey, you can send
who
someone
maybe,
over.
maybe
How
why
much
not?
they paying you? Come here now. yeah.
So it's not that easy because you have to go through the whole, work permits
That's
and all
a
that. So
pain,
same for the,
yes,
it
yeah,
is. So
yeah.
same for that lady you were just talking about.
Yes, yes.
She's on a student visa, and we were trying to look into how we could provide her a work permit. And my lawyer was like, dude, it's just like,
It's a pain in the ass.
it's not, forget about it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, all right. So in France we have this what we call like
like a work visa, right?
it's a work visa for young. I think you have to be under 30 years old.
We've had a couple of French people work with us here actually.
Yeah,
with,
so
with
it's-
the work
yeah.
holiday visa, some working
So
holiday
it's not
visa.
it's not a working holiday visa. It's
it's not?
another
Oh.
kind of contract for people who just graduated and who they can either work at a French administration abroad, so in an embassy, or the cultural service in an embassy or Alliance
Gotcha.
Française, or they can work in a in a French, usually a French company abroad, so Carrefour or whatever, Airbus, whatnot. Yeah, so it could be also in in a company like ours, but yeah, it's complicated because also usually you need to provide them. It's 1 year or 2 years contract.
Yeah.
So they're young, and the idea would be at the beginning was to have someone who could be actually leading our bakery. And when you have like a 25, 27 years old.
Yeah.
Baker from France, it's you tell them, hey, now you have 6 bakers to lead, and
tough.
it's gonna be a bit overwhelming. So
No, that's understandable. Yeah.
so we didn't go down that road, but we
No, I'm
didn't go with that. But yeah,
I'm curious because also we have a decent amount of staff, and it's always like, I have a friend that has quite a few Indian restaurants, and for his restaurants, he just brings Indian chefs in, right? And
On what kind of visa?
I don't know. He
You don't
never
know?
really kind of
Okay.
mentions that. I'm like, interesting.
Okay.
But he's got like 17 or something restaurants, so a lot.
Oh, wow.
So he's got
Okay.
some kind of a connection, right? And he's always like, just bring a Mexican in. I'm like, man, it's so hard. It's hard to bring people in. And right now we have a few Indonesian staff that are doing amazing. And the way we were able to keep them was they had an internship through their school. They went to school here. Then
Okay.
they had an internship, and then they stayed. And then after they finished that, then we were able to sponsor them. But without that beginning path with an internship here, it's hard.
Oh, I
It's
didn't know you
really
could do
hard.
that.
The internship is,
Okay.
yeah, that's one of the better ways. Yeah. So, but yeah,
Interesting.
staffing is tough, man. It's one of the toughest parts. One of the
And-
toughest parts. Tell me how you feel.
No,
about that,
but
yeah.
it's just that you know how
Yeah.
it is, how hard it is to find people
Yeah.
working in a restaurant. It's just
Yeah.
as a young generation, they just don't want to do this kind of job anymore,
I
right?
know.
It's tiring. You have to wake up early,
Yeah.
and it's the same in France. It's not only in Taiwan.
No, I know. Canada's the same. Canada's the same.
So you look in kitchens and restaurants in Paris.
Yeah.
A lot of people are coming from Sri Lanka.
okay.
So, somehow it's just that it's most of the chef working
Yeah.
in brasserie or whatever in Paris. A lot of them are from Sri Lanka because migrants have more, more
They just yeah.
willing. Yeah, just wanna they wanna make it and just like
Yeah.
they can cook. They don't need to interact with with customers and all that,
Yeah.
and they're very eager to succeed and
Gotcha.
to make it right. So I think in Taiwan, we don't have the possibility as a restaurant to hire white
Yeah.
out. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
foreign workers like you can in a factory, right? So
True.
that would be definitely helping a lot
Yeah.
of restaurants if we were able to do that. So you can hire people who already have ARC or
Yeah.
something like that. But I didn't know about that internship.
Yeah, the internship is great. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, that's still becoming, less and less people are coming, and everybody wants them. So the hotels, everyone's kind of, grabbing everybody up. But yeah, that's something that worked for us. But that's kind of, yeah. But the guys I have here, they've been here like 5 years now. So it's kind of like, doesn't seem to be like a new batch of people where we can kind of like add to the team, But it's kind of tough, man. It's kind of tough, but
Yeah. So you're always looking for people, right?
always,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's Tuesday, and we're closed. We're not supposed to be, but
Okay.
it's either that or usually. So pre-COVID, we were like 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Right. Fill it up, man. Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were 7 days a week pre-COVID, and it was great. Every day was full. Margarita Mondays, Taco
Yeah.
Tuesdays. Half price wings on Wednesday. It was great, and then COVID came and really squashed everything. And then now, it's coming back up, but it's not where it was still. And also, food cost is up. Everything's up. So it's definitely tougher now.
It is.
And it seems now, like you were saying, that new generation, you want to be YouTuber or you want to be, I don't know, like, I'm not sure what's happening there, but they don't want to do, it seems like they don't want to do the grunt work, like the physical labor stuff. And I mean, bakery, you got to be there at like 3 a.m., the first person, right? Which is
We
crazy.
start at 4 now.
4, okay, like that's
Yeah.
still really early, right?
Yeah.
But I know like the first person to be at 4, that's tough. I'm sure that's
It is,
and
yeah.
I know that some like restaurants and bars, they say, oh, you should open late, but to find someone to work till like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., that's also hard,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I mean, I can do it, but I don't want to do it all the time because I also have my wife and my
Of course,
kid.
yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be here till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah.
But it's not only in in the restaurant or hospitality business. You
Yeah.
see, kids want to be a carpenter or working on
Yeah.
and you can actually make super decent money.
Yeah, right
doing this
now.
kind of job
Yeah.
instead of doing whatever. I don't know, Uber deliveries or stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Not everyone is able to be a good carpenter, but
Yeah.
it's just that I'm just worried, like who in 10
Who's gonna
years will
fix
be
it?
doing who's
Yeah.
going to do that? Who will
Yeah.
be building? Who will be working in restaurants? Who will be all these
Yeah.
people who are really making the economy,
Yeah.
who run the economy on a daily basis?
Yep.
What's going to happen?
Actually, right now, I'm sure you ran into this when you were renovating.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to find a team to build something, like building the walls or the plumber or something, it's actually quite hard now. It's getting harder because
It is.
they're all booked up and they don't want to come unless it's a big job and it's kind of worth their time and they're going to have money. Like if
Definitely.
my tap breaks or something, I have to try to fix it because you call the plumber and they're like, "Oh, what is it? Oh, a tap." They're like, "I'm not gonna go there for that because they're busy."
Yeah.
And then when they come, they're like 60-year-old men, that you don't see like when I grew up. There'd be like 20-year-old like people coming in and they start to learn the trade. But and it seems also now in Canada, it's quite a high-paying job, but they're not. They're hard to find. It's hard to find like an electrician, stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting. I don't know what AI is going to do too, right? To all the jobs and everything. It's kind of crazy times, right?
AI is not going to fix your tabs, that's for sure. But
Definitely not. Yeah.
But
yeah.
no, in Taiwan you need to. It's same in France or in Canada, I guess.
Yeah,
It's just like
yeah.
when you find a good
Keep 'em.
plumber, a good
Yeah.
electrician, pay him well and
Yeah.
keep it. So people who did the renovation of our main cafe, they.
Yep.
When we have a problem, they're always available and all that. So it's also about cheers, man.
Cheers.
So you need to. It's part of the when you have a business like that, you need to make sure that you're surrounded by people who you can rely on. So
Agree.
yeah.
And I also think that you keep you take care of your team, but also that you take care of the plumber and you take care of the telephone guy, and if people come in and we try to take. I mean, we try to take care of everybody, but it's good to keep that relationship. You can give them a call, and sometimes there's companies like our POS system right now. That company is this service has. I don't know what happened, but they've turned over staff wise.
Using the one that starts with an I?
Yeah.
Or
No, we actually left that one about 5 years ago
okay.
because we found another one that we thought, okay, I knew of somebody who was working there, but all the people that I knew have left that place. And now it's just, oh man, the service is much worse than the I. I'm not gonna lie. So
we have an issue with that as well. We changed. I wanted to have we bought a terminal and
the
we
old
had,
school ones where you
with
control your
the
own
scanner
stuff
and all that. So
Yeah.
the interface is definitely much better. I think
Yeah.
it's much more, it's much faster and all that.
Yeah.
But we've been having a lot of issues. The software sucks, man. And, so it's been
It's tough.
It's tough because
yeah.
customers are like, yeah, it didn't work, and then the credit card machine doesn't work, and they're like, it's not working, and they think that something.
Yeah. When
you
you're
messed up with a credit with a credit card and all that. Like, I'm sorry.
And then when you
it's
tell a customer, oh, your credit card's not working, that's bad. Especially because if it's your fault, that's the worst thing, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we had some issues with that. We
Yeah.
shouldn't have changed the past,
Yeah.
but anyway.
I mean, the previous one, the one you were mentioning earlier, has been okay, but we switched to another one.
Yeah.
We're on the fence still. We'll see what happens. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess, right?
Yeah. Not sure the sound is perfect, but it's
exactly.
We'll try to improve that because it's not great now. But,
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah. Next 5 years, what are the plans for Lutetia?
I
All goes well next 5 years.
Look, we still need to figure out exactly what's the potential in Lutetia, right?
Okay.
What room we have in terms of how we can develop ourselves. We need to. I don't have the ambition to become the next Starbucks in Taiwan, the next Louisa or whatever.
Okay.
I think we need to find out what we can do with Taiwan is small
It's
market
small.
somehow.
Yeah.
I don't want to manage directly too many shops.
Yeah.
Franchises are complicated, to say the least,
I know.
because it's hard to make sure that all the
Quality.
franchisee are actually meeting the standards that you set, and to control all that is also very time consuming. So I'm not sure that I don't know, but
Okay.
yeah, it sounds a bit. However, I think it worth exploring out of Tianmu.
Okay.
So this is something that we can have in the back of my mind, and we are somehow working on.
Okay.
But yeah, it's there's a lot of parameters to take into account.
I understand.
And
I
so
know.
now we need to we're back to the fundamentals. We're back to we need to first, when we took over, is just make sure that let's say you can't just try to develop too much and too fast, and you need to
Understand.
have the proper growth, right?
Yeah.
You need
I know.
a lot
well.
of restaurants, a lot of chains in Taiwan
They grow fast.
who grow fast,
Yeah.
and then
They
poof,
disappear.
they completely
Yeah.
disappear. So
Yeah.
you need to know exactly what's your strengths, and and to grow properly, because your
Yeah.
growth can be detrimental to your business if it's not a controlled growth and if you don't
Sure.
really know exactly where you're going.
Yep.
So you need to be careful with that. So it's it's something that we are evaluating and that we are looking at, but we're cautious.
No, I agree. I think I've seen so many places they come and then, business is busy and then they're like, let's open another one, let's open another. And then they have
Yeah.
like 5 and then they franchise one and then trying to keep the franchise, the same quality. It's hard. And,
It is.
one person or one couple to run so many, it's tough. Yeah. It's definitely
There's
tough.
so many franchises in Taiwan.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, and then-
yeah.
And then a lot of them, they come and they disappear, right? Taiwan's it's kind of a unique market. It's a tricky one. Yeah.
It is very competitive,
yeah.
and the cycle of life of restaurants is.
Oh man,
it's.
I know a lot of the restaurants. So there's after hopefully you never have to find it out. But I've closed my Dan Shui restaurant. I've closed some of the other ones. And when you close, you try to sell your stuff, and people will give you like pennies on the dollar for your tables and chairs.
Yep.
And then if they don't take it, there'll be a company that'll come and just take everything. And those guys, like the repo man, they come in and let's say that it's valued at 100,000, brand new. They will give you like 8,
Yeah.
and that's it. So those guys, you go to
Yeah.
like their warehouse or whatever, and they've got everything. So it's bad on this side, but if you're looking for stuff, then it's good to go and check out what they've got because they have good deals usually.
Yeah. So when we did a renovation for
Yeah.
our flagship store, our main cafe, we got rid of all the furniture.
Okay.
Right? So all the furniture that we had, a bunch of equipment that we were not using anymore, but we gave it to an association in Alishan.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Well, one guy and his wife, Corbett, and his wife Corinne, who his wife is Taiwanese. He's from the U.S.
Oh, nice.
And he was working in was it in banking or I forgot.
Okay.
Anyhow, so they settled in Taiwan in Alishan, and they wanted to do something for the community, right?
Okay.
So they have this wonderful organization, association, helping out the young generation locally to train them on the job instead of they can stay there instead of leaving the village and going in the next city to work in a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, gotcha.
The idea is to retain them, to teach them a job, to learn how
Give them the skills.
run a business, to give
Okay.
them some skills so they
Nice.
can stay there. Yeah, I think
That's
it's
beautiful.
It's definitely, and it's actually the previous owner who started to work with them. And
Oh,
it's
really?
something,
Oh,
yeah. So,
okay.
So it's something that I thought it was great,
Okay.
and we kept working with them, and we gave them a lot of. Well, they did us a favor, to be honest with you,
Sure,
because
sure.
there was a lot of tables, a lot of chairs that, as you said, you're not going to sell. You're not going to make money out of
You're not
it.
gonna make
You need to
anything.
find someone who's
Yeah.
going to help you to get rid of it. So
And it's also like I don't want to say it's sad, but it's kind of like insulting when people will come in and they'll be like, oh, let's say this plate, let's say it's worth, it's not. Let's say it's worth 1,000, right? People will come and they'll pick it up and they'll be like, I'll give you 20.
yeah,
And then it's like, no, and you're like, okay,
I
it's
spent
better
so
than
much
it's
time
better
to
than
choose this plate.
nothing, or are you just like, get the fuck out of here, I'm keeping my own. So
It's
it's
the
it's
best
like,
plate.
it's a tough. It's like giving up,
yeah,
something.
but it's
that,
also
tough.
that
It's tough.
sometimes you need to cut your losses, and you need to
No, for
move
sure.
on, and you need to
Yeah.
get rid of
Yeah.
of the old, and you need to move forward. Like help me to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And then we can have something because we need to have something new, have something different, and all that. So
Okay.
I think it's these people have this. They're here for a
Attachment.
reason.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you can't be attached to
Yeah. To your plate.
too much to
Yeah.
material things. Then you need to get rid of it, move on. So that's how it is. But as you said, there's a lot of restaurants in Taiwan that open and close down. You
Yeah.
know, and people who so you have a lot of secondhand stuff on the market.
There's a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot of them. We didn't actually buy much secondhand stuff.
No, the place
to
looks.
be honest, but
Yeah.
no, but I
Looks
mean in
good. It
terms
looks
of
good.
equipment like
Yeah,
ovens and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But Yeah, it's definitely a lot. But yeah.
It's tough sometimes. Like there was a place here. This one has turned over a few times in the last couple of years. I think Spice Shop is doing okay,
Yeah.
doing well. But before there was, I think two stores before it was some like Italian restaurant-y coffee shop weird thing.
Okay.
And they bought one of those Rationale ovens, the
Okay.
big ones
Yeah, yeah.
that are. We looked at one at a trade show, and it was like 350,000 or 500,000, something crazy, right? And they had one, and I was like, oh my god! And
Nice transfer price. But
yeah, yes, exactly, right. And so when they went out, I saw that somebody bought it from them for like 50,000 or
man.
something, and I'm like, oh, why didn't you tell me, man? I would have taken that. That's
Yeah.
crazy because it's so nice, but it's crazy. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know, but it's kind of crazy how that works. But yeah, but when you're in the end, you're just like, just take it, man. I'm done. It's a tough one.
You
It's
need
a tough
to,
one. Yeah.
you need to get rid of it, and
Yeah.
So first, yeah. But which Italian restaurant? I don't even.
It was a Taiwanese owned one
Yeah.
where so before it was Fumo. I don't know if you ever heard of Fumo. Fumo, they moved downtown. So before Spice Shop, it was Fumo, and then Fumo, Fumo, like smoke, Fumo, right?
Okay.
And then they moved downtown. I think they're doing well downtown.
Okay.
And then before that it was like a coffee shop, kind of like they were selling plates, and they had Italian food and coffee and pasta. It was like a Taiwanese place.
Okay.
And apparently the Taiwanese owner was an older man, but his daughter was she was Taiwanese, but she was some celebrity in China. So they opened it, and then she went back to China, and she just left him running it. And it was pretty tough. Yeah, I mean, he was a super nice guy and stuff, but it's tough because he's an older guy, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But yeah, so I was kind of disappointed. It's like, oh my god, I would have loved to take that
The Rationale
Rationale,
oven,
those big
yeah.
ovens, man. Those are, they cook everything so quickly, and
Yeah,
it's
they're
not,
great.
yeah, I love those, yeah. But yeah, man. If anybody is looking to take over a business or own a business or start a business in Taiwan, what's your advice to them?
I think this is a right, road to take.
Okay.
Take over a business. You need to keep in mind that there's just so many small businesses in Taiwan
Yeah.
that no one has ever heard of, and they are doing great. That
Yeah.
have orders for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
The thing is that I would recommend. There's a great book, first of all, that people can read.
Drop it. Yeah.
What's the name? Is it? Buys and Build or something like that. I need
Oh,
to
I don't
check
know
it
that
out.
one. I don't know
okay.
that one.
I'm sorry.
I'll find it out and then
I
I'll
might
put
get
it
it
in the
wrong.
thing.
I
Yeah,
need
it's
to
okay.
check. But
It's okay.
it's one of the advice that definitely. There's a lot of good advices in this book, but don't think in terms of what industry I should be in. Oh, I like bread and coffee. I should buy a cafe.
That's a big mistake, I think.
That's really is a big mistake. And often people say, oh, you were not. It doesn't matter. A business is a business. You run
Yeah.
a business, right?
Yes.
Now, what you need to think of is how can I apply my skills to this business to improve it, to make it more lean, and to and is this business is it a turnaround or is it
Okay.
a business that are already doing well, and or do you want to buy several businesses, and do you want to do some other acquisitions that can complement this business
Gotcha.
afterwards? But the problem in Taiwan is that there's so much opacity in during the whole process of acquiring a business. It's not
Okay.
like in the U.S. where you have business brokers, right?
Okay,
And
sure.
you have people who can help you during this process, and you have also some, the banks can lend you money,
Yeah.
and you can just put, you can put down like maybe like 100K, and you can acquire, a business that is making maybe, of $3 or $4 million dollars
Sure.
of revenues, of EBITDA, or so. I think that in Taiwan it should be encouraged. That's the first thing. It's not only in Taiwan, but there's this wrong idea of saying like this romantic idea of starting a business.
That's huge. Yeah.
It's you need to like in France we talk about startup nation.
Okay.
Because we want our current president wants to push all these new innovations. And to have the next Amazon, or we don't have Europe since 2008. Hasn't been. We haven't seen any tech giants, right?
Okay.
We have some good tech companies, but for either it's in the clouds, SAS or whatever. We don't have an Amazon, we don't have a Google, we don't have a Meta or whatever. And I think it's dangerous to keep pushing the young generation in this direction because by definition, it's extremely just a tiny percentage of these people we actually succeed. When you have a bunch of mom and pop businesses that are doing great, and that generate profits, that are stable and all that, and these people are will retire, and who's going to take over all these businesses?
That's a problem.
That's a big problem. So you need to encourage that. You need to the young generation needs to not to think of, oh yeah, this is glamorous, a cafe and having a restaurant and all that.
Yeah.
Dude, you want to run a business, so maybe manufacturing business, making coils or doing plastic injection is not something that look glamorous to you. And very often these businesses are somewhere in the suburbs of Taichung or down south or whatever. It's not, but this is a backbone of Taiwanese economy.
Sure.
These businesses are the businesses that are, all these small, companies are medium-sized companies that are actually, generating a lot of, of revenues and they are profitable. And I think there should be some, some funding also. Banks should be helping the young generation to acquire this business and make all this process more transparent also. I would tell people just don't look at just the industry and how fancy it looks and all that. Just think in terms of how can I use my skill to improve this business, and is it the right business? Is it profitable? Is it is it solid? Spend some time evaluating the companies that you are thinking of acquiring and
okay. I agree 100%. I just want to add to that, I have a lot of friends of mine that I've gained in Taiwan over the years that are chefs, like 5-star chef, Michelin, like much better in the kitchen than I am, like just amazing chefs. And they've all opened and closed many restaurants because they fall in love with the product. They get the best product, and they want to make sure everything's perfect. And then the cost is really high, and then that maybe the people in the front, they're not communicating why the cost is high, and then people be很贵, and then this slowly, like it's tough. It's a tough thing. So a lot of chefs that I know are amazing, like at the most maybe a manager, but like a kitchen manager or executive chef, great. But a lot of them, when they open their own, this is not an insult to any of my friends watching, but when they open, it's tough. It doesn't work very well because they are focusing just like on the food. They're focusing on, and the food's great.
I think that's a common mistake as well for people who start a business, either it's in a restaurant business or anything else, is that there's a difference between being a specialist, being good at making food, and being an entrepreneur. These are two different things. And in the end of the day, a business is looking at the books, it's looking at your cash flow, it's looking at these kind of things. And it's not glamorous for a lot of people. And a lot of chefs in France also are not really trained. A lot of bakers in France are not, I talked to some bakers in France and some people who teach, in the baking schools and all that. And we have a pretty good system to teach those kids, those new bakers, but the business part of it is really tiny, and it lacks of So you have these young bakers who come and who have a lot of passion, and for those who still have passion in this field, and it's heartbreaking because they start something, they invest a lot, they have a great oven, and they buy they have some great they have some great products, but they tend to forget that a business is a business, and it's not, you cannot just be looking at the products you are making, but you also need to look at your cash flow and and where. So be careful, you don't need to have like 15 different types of flour, and stocking, all that. You need to be careful, at your supply chain and all that. And this, well, it's been overlooked by, and that's why the
Not
funny
just
thing,
in France, man, and the whole world. You know, people will go to a business school
Yeah.
and they will learn how to like theoretically maybe run a business, but they won't learn how to actually run a business because maybe the person teaching
Yeah.
probably never had a business, right?
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah, so you have no, that's a big problem, honestly.
I agree.
I think that it should be, we should work on that. It's heartbreaking when you see young people who start and they invest a lot of their
Yeah,
energy, of their
their whole-
time,
their
and
whole
they,
life, yeah.
and that's why now you have a lot of bakeries, a lot of restaurants opening in France. I will be talking more about bakeries because
Sure,
I know more about that, but
Of course.
who are now owned by people who were maybe accountants or
Okay.
who were working in a in a corporate world, and because they are more business savvy.
Yeah.
And in the end of the day, that's what you need. And then also, of course, you can find bakers and all that, but
Yeah.
and these are the ones that are striving. Not
Yeah.
only, but a lot of the new bakers who want to open their own bakeries, most of the times it's just
They don't make it. 'Cause
They don't make
could
it
have
because-
the best bread or the best, whatever, but then actually
Yeah.
when it comes to, okay, I got to pay the rent next week. I got to pay for the flour bill. I got to pay the vegetable and the meat or whatever. And then it's tough. It's definitely
is.
tough. Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
And you have to learn marketing, and then you have to learn service, and you have to learn, how to get the repeat customers. It's a long process. It's crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right on, man. Well, let's wrap this up, and we'll
Yeah.
finish that bottle of wine a little bit later. But man, do you have anything that you want to mention before we call it?
No, we will be. We'll keep improving. We'll keep proposing new products. We
Okay.
will keep. It's always Lutetia is a working process. It's in a constant working process. I don't want to do the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
So keep coming and
coming.
And see what we have, because we always have some new products. We always be I don't wanna do the same thing all the time. So
Understand,
yeah. And also we will be looking at how we can develop
Beautiful.
in the future. So yeah,
Love
looking
it.
forward to what's coming next.
Beautiful, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching the show. In the description below, we have a link to the Instagram page of Lutetia. Definitely go check it out if you're in Tianmu. Great coffee. The Croque Monsieur is
Croque
really
Monsieur,
nice.
yeah.
Croque Monsieur, we've had that a few times. It's great. And also the quiche, the bacon quiche, really nice.
Thanks, man.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks you. See you guys next time, yeah? Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you everybody for watching Eddie's show. We feel only happiness, don't feel any sorrow. Welcome everybody to watch more on his content. Eddie Live Podcast. Eddie Live Podcast.